How do you feel about some of the mixed martial artists transitioning into these attraction fights now, like Woodley and Jake Paul?
For anything, I think it's not bad for the sport of mixed martial arts. I think it's bad for the sport of boxing. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul is going to be the biggest pay-per-view boxing fight of the year. And it was a YouTuber versus a retired fighter, a retired boxer. What's going to happen whenever Canelo Alvarez's next fight does one half of the pay-per-view of that? The boxing world is delegitimizing itself, whereas mixed martial arts is just kind of staying the same. And, Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, these other Jake Paul ones have been under the organization called Triller.
Right.
Triller did the whole rapping thing with Snoop Dogg and
terrible.
Justin Bieber. And so it was really disheartening that I had to watch like an hour's worth of, a strip club show and a rap video before the fight.
Did you see when Ben Askren was backstage and he even brought that up? I watched the whole thing, unfortunately. But he goes, I can't. He goes, I have my children watching this, and my wife like, what the hell is going on?
Wrestling.
Yeah.
How you feeling, man? How do you feel being a part of this psycho event?
That is an understatement. Bert, I love you, but I got all my kids that were wrestling academies. They're watching these. Oh, man, I feel so bad for the parents that are trying to explain to their kids what's going on TV right now.
Right.
Triple Urkel.
Steve Urkel got his own weed.
Indeed.
Let's spark up one.
So I feel like kind of an irresponsible mentor.
Yeah, so Ben Askren runs a very successful Askren Wrestling Academy. He's probably got like 10, 15 wrestling academies, which means he's probably got 500 youth kids who probably want to see their coach go get into a boxing match. And he's like, I got all these kids around the country right now who I said, hey, watch me fight. And I didn't realize that, the knockoff Cardi B was going to be there, not all naked. It's now Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley is on Showtime. Yeah. Now it's making it even worse because Showtime is the premier spot to watch boxing. Right. Triller was its own thing. Triller making its show towards the idiocracy of this generation.
Yeah. Right.
Where you could say, oh, that's just a freak show, buy it if you want. But now it's all under the Showtime banner. This is just the new way. This is the new normal. So you can either just be mad at it and fight against it, or you can say, hey, how do I monetize this, make money with this, increase my platform or increase my way of making a living because this is the new normal. But I don't know. It's crazy.
It's so sad that is the new normal, just complete degeneracy. And I heard you talk about, like family, God, and friends and all that stuff. It's like, how further removed from all of that could society be when that is what attracts the mainstream? I mean, nothing had any redeeming value to it. And it's just, I felt like that was a complete representation of the times that we're in.
Today's a really wild day for boxing because it just shows, how low it's truly sunk.
Imagine you're the oddball in that situation. So now you're basically like, if you look at Triller as a country, you're like in a country out on an island, and you're just, how do you get me out of here? You're trapped.
So I don't know if you know this, but I wrestled with Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren both in college. They're they were the two guys that got me into MMA.
Gotcha.
So they're like big brothers to me. So obviously my wife knows Ben's wife, Amy, and they were messaging back and forth because my wife was taking videos like, are you serious? This is what America has come to.
Only imagine.
And then Amy was doing the same thing, and they were messaging back and forth. It's just like something like that.
I thought Oscar was going to fall off of his seat. I don't know what that guy was drunk or what. He was calling. There was one fighter in there who was, I believe he was like a U.S. veteran, and he kept saying USSR.
Imagine the Golden Boy and Snoop in the same room, baby. In the same room. Let's go, baby. USSR. Because Steve Cunningham is the real deal. He's the USSA, baby.
Well, he was a part of the Navy for 4 years, so he's not the USSR.
Wow. Am I cool or what? Should I get out or what?
But we do know that
Show
he can
my fucking
punch
face more.
because when he fought Tyson,
That one USSA, baby. USSA. Deflate the balloon, baby.
To me, that whole event just seemed to represent just like all the problems in our country. Alcoholism, drug use, and just, it's a degeneracy.
They actually got a contact time.
What was the last big event? The Grammys with Cardi B in the bed with the girl. She's scissoring another girl. you realize it's only going to get worse. There's going to be more and more of this. I feel like it's all relative to the lack of substance that's being promoted to our youth.
Is really what it is it's a death by 1,000 cuts. It's chipping away at the moral fabric, not by big chunks, but by little bitty tiny chunks every single day. Yeah. And then evil prevails when good people stand there and do nothing. And that's really what it is coming down to. If I can be a good father and a good husband, and I can make sure my wife is happy, my son grows up, knows that he is in a loving home and can be a high functioning member of society and contribute to society. Yeah. If each of us can do that within our homes, then a neighborhood turns into a positive situation, and then a county turns into a positive situation, and then the state turns into a positive situation, and then the country, so it all starts back at the home. And it's also hopefully a self-cleansing time right now. Maybe it's positive, maybe it's confident expectancy and a little bit of foolish positivity, but I'm hoping that's the case.